Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, baseball's underway. No, the season hasn't started, of course, but spring training games have. So the Yankees are playing their first spring training game. But more importantly, the headline is Jasson Dominguez in his first game in Major League camp, hitting a home run there. So this is a good omen. So kind of give my thoughts on that. But before we do, plenty of spring training to go. So if it's your first time listening to this podcast, make sure you subscribe, crush, like, do something, whether it says like or subscribe, that you get more episodes coming up. So, spring training games on the way, obviously, big hoopla, nothing big there. But, of course, the story, Jasson Dominguez, the Yankees, I guess, number 2 prospect behind Volpe, hitting a home run in his first Major League, even though it's a spring training game, but it's with the Major League camp, going yard in the 5th inning. So just a good sign of getting things, just off on the right track there. And really didn't touch upon this in any previous episodes, but Cashman did extend an invitation for Dominguez to be in the Major League camp. And I just think that's just to get him a little seasoning. There's no plans whatsoever you hear of them having him to start the season, no matter how many home runs he hits. I think they still wanted him to get another year under his belt. He's only 20 years old. He turned 20 just a couple of weeks ago, so still kind of a baby. And can he hit and play in the majors? Maybe, but you still want to make sure he's 100%. You don't want him to, come up, fail, and then maybe he becomes a head case like a Clint Frazier or something like that, which I don't think he does. This guy just seems a little bit more even keeled and stable in that regard, but still nonetheless, I think it's just more to get him to rub elbows with some of the major league guys and face maybe a little bit more major league ready competition, just so at some point, maybe next year's the time when they bring him up, or maybe if he does go gangbusters this year in the minors, maybe you see him a little back later in August. But right now, it just seems like he'll start April with the club. It just seemed that just getting some work there. But again, little things like that, it's just a good omen. I'm not going to put too much stock in it. Remember Higgy last spring training had 6 home runs, and then he might have had 6 home runs for the entire regular season. So don't put too much stock in that. I remember a couple of seasons ago before Greg Bird got hurt, I remember he had one spring training a year that he had 5 home runs or 5 or 6 home runs. And then you thought, wow, he's going to have this great year. And then got hurt early on. And it was one of his many injuries. So, don't go crazy over spring training home runs. Doesn't mean that much. But I just think there are little good signs with certain players when you have a good feeling about them. You kind of think of someone like Hideki Matsui, his major league debut for the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, hitting a grand slam, in that snowy game against Minnesota. You think even the first game, I think Giancarlo Stanton played for the Yankees. I think they opened up in Toronto, if I can remember. Either Toronto or Houston for some reason. I think it was Toronto, but then nevertheless had I think one might have had 2 home runs in his first game. So I think when you have a special player playing a kind of a first game, even though it's a spring training game and they do hit a home run, I think it is usually a good omen of things to come. So, if you're a little superstitious or kind of a calmer person, then I'm sure you would like that news. As for Dominguez, they play him as a center fielder, so the Yankees kind of already have that covered with Harrison Bader, and of course now you're hearing word that the Yankees want to give Stanton more work. But obviously, since left field is so vast for the Yankee Stadium, they'd rather have him in right field at Yankee Stadium, which is a little smaller than switching Judge to left, as a way to just get Stanton more involved in the game, have him there in the outfield. I'm okay with it. Again, in the past, we've seen Stanton react better and have just be better at the plate when he's playing defense as well. Just maybe get some more engaged in the game. So I'm all for it. Don't love the idea. I think Judge can cover left field out there, but again, you're making him run a little bit more, and just chances of maybe pull something. So don't totally love it. But if it's something just for 2023 to try out, I'm all for that as well. So those are the main updates. So spring training games are on the way. So again, we kind of have baseball, I guess you could kind of say. And this is basically a situation after a week or two, the veteran players hate this. They're done. They're ready to go up north, but it's good to excited to see some of the young guys. So to see someone like Jasson Dominguez, who, frankly, I've seen clips and stuff like that, but never really seen the guy before. You hear all the buzz, but it's good to see him on the regular, playing a game on Yes Network, for example. So that's that. And a little update on the Frankie Montas. Again, previously mentioned that he's going to need. Well, he had the surgery at this point now. Now, it turns out they didn't need to touch the rotator cuff, so they kind of cleaned around it, which means it looks like the rehab time won't be as long as they originally expected. Now, they're saying at least 12 weeks before you can start throwing again. So I guess a little good news there. So maybe see a little bit more of Montas this season than we thought we would have. Again, if they kind of went full rotator cuff, then maybe he would have been completely shut down. So he's just someone if he comes back, great. If not, again, I'm kind of almost counting them out for 2023. So that's the latest. So again, Section 420 Talking Yankees. Make sure you subscribe and get notified when new content comes up. Catch you next time.